All right, here it is. Time for a little live show, the Monday Nooner, first ever. And this is the Provincial Hockey Release Party. Can we call it a party, boys? You guys are all in red shirts. I feel out of place.
It's a party. It is a party.
Ready to go.
There's been a buzz. There's been a buzz all day throughout the province. So excited.
There has been. All right. So first off, of course, the housekeeping. Our title sponsor of everything we do on the Monday Nooner podcast, Mainline GM and Mainline Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Rosetown, Saskatchewan, both the king of trucks. And special sponsor today, we're going to get to General Well Servicing in a bit in the top 10. We're going to talk about that. But a special sponsor today because our friends from Hockey Saskatchewan were so nice in letting us do this, SGI Canada. And joining us from Hockey Saskatchewan, as you can see, the Godfather. Here he is, Kelly Mcclintock. Kelly, thanks so much for jumping aboard. And thank you for letting us do this.
No, I think it's great. I think it's a great opportunity. You guys do an awesome job in promoting senior hockey in our province. And so I think it's just a natural fit. And we had a call with all the senior teams last week, a virtual call, and told them that this was happening and to get everybody to be listening. So I think you're going to have a good, hopefully a good audio, good numbers for this week.
Let's go.
And so I know Shane was wondering, how do you guys, I'm actually wondering this too, and I'm sure there's a lot of people watching, how does this all come together? How do you guys get the senior brackets in place?
So what we do, and I'm the guy that usually puts them together. So I'll take a look at all the teams that are, entered. I have the last 3 years of draws with me when I make this year's draw. So my first priority is that I don't want someone, if at all possible, playing someone else from their same league in the first round. I can't guarantee anything in the next rounds, but when I'm looking at the last 3 years, I don't want them to play somebody, if at all possible, that they've played in the last couple of years. So you can't control everything after the first round, but at least the first round, they see somebody different. You'll see in some of the cases that it's difficult. I'd say that our registrations are a little bit down than normal this year, just because there's not as many teams, and there was 4 or 5 teams that entered and dropped out, but that's what makes it difficult.
That is so cool to hear that you guys actually put the thought process in there. So you talked about numbers being down a bit, but I feel, and first off, I want to say thanks to Hockey Saskatchewan, because I'm sure this hasn't been easy, especially over the last few weeks here, as Omicron kind of does its thing and it hopefully is burning its way through the system. This hadn't have been easy to kind of push forward and say, hey, we're going where other parts of the province are just, it's easy to say, we're done, lock it down.
Yeah, I think like when I have meetings nationally, there's only games being played Manitoba West, right? Everything else east of Manitoba is shut down. So I think that's important for people to be aware of. And, and I kind of like the direction the province going, we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have some, some pauses. We're going to have some cancellations, rescheduling. But, when we had our virtual calls with all the contacts, like we had, U13 one call, U15 and U18 and senior, we said, as we get into the end of the month here and we start seeing scheduling, you're going to have to be really patient. We talked to them about scheduling of games. Senior hockey are all best of 3s now. We recommended that they have the first 2 games on the first weekend, not the next weekend, because if you have some cases, they're all fully vaccinated. So after 5 days, they should be good to go for the game 3, if there is one. The other thing we talk about is especially is officiating, so we are a little bit of shortage of officials, and if they have COVID, we have more. So, for that third game, a lot of teams in the past would like to play like game 2 Saturday night and game 3 Sunday. And we're recommending that they don't do that, because we have to schedule the officials beforehand. And if a lot of the series get done in 2 games, then we're trying to scramble on a Saturday night at 2 a.m. or Sunday morning, trying to get the guys that were scheduled for games on Sunday to get them elsewhere. So that's what we try to have our chats with the guys, in terms of setting up their games.
Is there, and we'll get to the bracket that'll have the dates and stuff that things need to be done. Is there, I guess, any wiggle room, if there is needing to be cancellations, or it's just kind of a case by case get through it?
You have to take into account blizzards, road conditions. We've had Zambonis break down after warm up and melt the ice. We've had Zamboni rooms be on fire, and the guy called and say, "Well, we have to cancel the game." Well, you can't. We have the Zamboni rooms on fire. And was really calm when he was talking about it, right? So there's all kinds of things that come into play. So like we told everybody, if we have to, we'll extend some a little bit. We don't want to go too far, because then it gets, then it means if we have to, then the next round, it's a shortened time period. So just to be aware of all of that.
And as far as end dates in every division, can that be moved at all? Finals done by, whatever date, can that be moved at all?
Yeah, you'll see what we've done. They're not all the same end date. So we've altered the end dates a little bit, and that's primarily to try and get from an officiating point of view. Right. So you don't want all the provincial all 4 finals done on the same weekend, right? Because, it's the end of March, but, we want the best officials we can. And you're competing with, during this whole time, how it usually goes is U Sport and the Dub schedule. And it's all month by month, right? And then you're going SJHL, and you're trying to get our senior games in and junior B, et cetera. So there's a lot of demand, and everyone seems to want to play on weekends. So I've told people a lot of times, if you can expect a good crowd on a Wednesday night, you probably should, because you probably get really good officials.
That's right. And then lastly, Kelly, we got to give a plug for SGI Canada, because they step up and kind of sponsor all your provincials as well.
Yeah, they've been our sponsor for a number of years. They've been awesome in terms of helping us to, provide all the plaques and the banners and the various things we do for all the teams once they get to the finals. And they've been an awesome sponsor. We usually get people representing SGI in local communities where the final games are. So we always have to have somebody in game 2 and 3 potentially there. So it's to hand out all the hardware. So they've been awesome for us.
That playoff beard going to make it through the provincials too?
I think it's going to keep going, man. I'm extremely lazy, and much as chagrin of some people, but other people like it. So I'm just letting her roll, man.
I got the Kelly Mcclintock starter kit going right now.
Right on, Kelly. Thanks so much again for letting us do this, for partnering with us, kind of believing in what we're going to do here tonight. And thanks for keeping hockey going.
No problem. Anytime.
Yeah. So we're kind of rolling on the fly here. Barney's going to get the graphics up, but going to start in the D division, and quite the category in D this year. 10 teams. Here's the big reveal. I'm sure people can see it up on the screen, but 10 teams. So let's start with the North. You got Debden. Haven't heard much from Debden.
No,
they don't even have a team in a league, do they? Pardon my ignorance.
I think they do. I think they do.
Just chucking a bunch of farmers together coming out.
I've been doing the scores from every weekend, and I've never seen Debden. So
sleeper.
I think this might be a provincial wagon, but they're taking on Edam. Edam 3 stars out of the Sask West, and then the Kenaston Blizzards, the number 1 team in the province. They're going D this year, guys. Number 1 team's going D, and they're taking on a pretty good squad in Mcclintock, the Mohawks, out of the Sask West. So those are your 4 teams out of the North.
And Kenaston, Mcclintock. What a great matchup to start things off. Like you said, our top team in the province. So it'll be and sorry, maybe Debden doesn't have a team. I guess we're gonna have to look into that. But over to the south, a team that is they've lost their starting goalie, and they've lost their best player, starting goalie due to injury, best player to he's over having schnitzel and making a little sticks and gas in Germany. Foam Lake, Central Butte.
The Butte. They're picking up some Hodge guys, I think. That's why they didn't want to ruffle any feathers. I think they're teaming up, going to try to go out there and beat up on Foam Lake. It'll be interesting.
I'll have to confirm with Kelly, but I think that some of these teams, there's some sort of split between C and D, because a lot of these teams said they were going C or C/D. So I think maybe a lot of the C/D teams kind of got split up into C and D. We'll have to ask Kelly for sure on that. But interesting to see Foam Lake and Kenaston, 2 teams that have been in the top 10 all year in D, and then why don't you go through that bottom bracket there on the south?
Yeah, I Lucky Lake, Crake, they did add a couple of guys, I think, for provincials. Not too quite sure on Lucky Lake. And then Kyle Robert. I got to think that we're going to see a Crake Kyle battle in that second round again. I don't know. I could be wrong, right? Like we're not picking sides here.
Two thoughts there. Robert's got a deadly goalie. As long as he's playing provincials with him, he could steal him maybe a game in Kyle. That would be fun to see. And sounds like Lucky Lake might be getting Darren Kimball to come back to take on their Reaches, a little head-to-head round one.
Kimby back.
Oh, so there's D. There you see all the teams.
Any sorry.
Like,
I was going to say, any predictions from you guys just quickly? Obviously, Kenaston being the number one team in the province, you got to circle them probably as a favorite.
Kenaston in a lock.
I think Kenaston's winning provincials in D for sure. I think Kyle Crake, I think it's gonna be Foam Lake and Reacher's gonna get mad. I think she's gonna be Foam Lake and Kyle down there on the south to play into the final. But I don't know who's gonna be Kenaston. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna see. So let's we're gonna see, and we're gonna move over to C. There's a cheesy segue for you.
Guy.
And again, 10 teams are playing in C. So we're just going to pull that bad boy up right now. The little screen share here.
Live show. No room for edits. This is us at our
bury in the basement, back where he belongs.
People have never seen us in this capacity. Live.
Rostern and PP, Porcupine Plain, getting it on in C here. And then Hanley and Dinsmore. Like, I don't know a lot about Hanley. Again,
Wheatland team against a Valley team, right?
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I like the Cardiff Assiniboia matchup. Team Moose. That'll be a good series.
I've heard Cardiff is adding a few guys for the run from around the Big Six, and obviously Team Moose Jaw. I'm not sure how they got all the way down to C, but
it'll be warm that time of year, eh? The chopper will be fired up, picking guys up all over the province.
That's a really interesting matchup. Yeah, that's and then you look at the south, the bottom portion of the south. Look at these matchups. You got Davidson Cyclones, who've been a good team in the Long Lake this year, taking on Redbirds. The Rockets are 8-0-1 in the Big Six. That's an interesting matchup. See those two leagues go head to head, and then Mooseman Rangers, new team to the Big Six. They're going to be a threat out of the C division, taking on the Wynyard Monarchs, who we haven't talked a lot about this year, but I believe they were a top 10 team for a cup of coffee there last year. So there's your C.
There's going to be some good matchups in C, but I'm going to predict it right now. My prediction is the winner of this is coming out of the South. I can't pick the winner, but it's coming out of the South.
Here's a little tidbit.
Agreed.
I just looked up quickly. Tidbit guy today too. Porcupine Plain to Cardiff or Porcupine Plain to Assiniboia over 5 hours. So there's
Cardiff. Like I say again, the Cardiff. If Cardiff's in, the boys don't have to worry. It'd be a Lear jet taking them up there to Porcupine Plain.
Hey, we're not used to this live thing, but is it offside if I go grab a beer?
Like we always do? Give her.
Why don't we pull up B and we can start?
I'll be right back. You guys keep rolling.
We'll buzz.
What a pitch move. But anyway, let's get into to B. 13 teams in B. So
load it up.
That's not bad. There it is right there. 13 teams. We'll start in the north and belts. We talked about this one in a group text today.
Yeah.
Kindersley, Eston, right off the hop.
Are they going to be the pretenders or are they going to get her done? Is Big Mac playing for Kinder? Like, I don't know. That's good. That's going to be a good series.
Kindersley picked up some other guys too. I know I heard a rumor they signed the best player from Lash Vegas, Kyler Hope, going all the way to Kindersley for provincials. And there's some Eston guys, I think, like those towns kind of cross over, right? Like Eston's got some Kindersley born guys on their league roster. Like it's going to be some bad blood there, I feel. It's a geography pretty tight matchup that way.
One thing I would have liked to ask Kelly is how does like Odessa get the bye and like Kindersley Eston get the bye and everyone else has to play?
It's all luck of the draw.
Like you said, it probably changes. If you got to buy in last 3 years, you probably don't. I'm guessing he factors all that in.
Yeah.
But
so here we go. Delisle and Wilkie go at it in round 1, and Birch Hills and Hafford. The Birch Hills Bamfords. How they get draw Hafford. Hafford's no slouch. So that's a tough battle right off the hop. And then Theodore Wadena. Whew.
That'll be a battle. There's a couple battles on this side. Holy Grenfell Rokenville.
Outlook split with Rosetown this year. We've talked about. So we got Outlook Rosetown taking on Watrous. Outlook Rosetown is going to be a serious threat out of the South, but with all due respect to Watrous and the Buffs, I mean, Wadena, Outlook round 2, possibly. Theodore obviously going to be no slouch, and then to keep going down, Grenfell. Grenfell, I would say, is probably the favorite out of the South, and they got Rock City, who's been to a lot of finals and stuff too. So
this South side is man, it's going to be really. It's too bad Outlook wasn't in the North. I'm thinking, like if Outlook would have been able to go north, and I obviously with the number of teams, it didn't work out because it's it's going to be really interesting.
Who's ever coming out of the South is going to be really beat up for the final.
Well, Grenfell Odessa play each other. They play each other.
Grenfell Rokenville.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess that, and no hometown bias, but Wilkie will probably play Kindersley / Eston, which that's the North final is going to be a slobber knocker too. Yeah. Like it's the first time I've ever used that term. I wish we could edit it out. live show.
Slobber knocker.
You got the Great West going now. Yeah. So when we talked to Paco a couple of weeks ago or whatever, he talked about how B was going to be a battle. So that's B. Yeah, things are sizzling along here. All right, now let's get to A. And only 9 teams, fellas. We were really wondering about this, right? And I think we heard some teams dropped out in the last weekish kind of
last
thing.
Sprint. There's an opt-out deadline, I think it was like January 5th. And as Kelly acknowledged, they had 4 or 5 teams drop out across the board. Just too bad. But before we get into the A, I counted it up. I think 42 teams in provincials. That's all right, right? I mean, you got 70 some in the province, but 40 some in provincials. And I'm sure once all this BS going on is behind us, things will go up in future years. But how about A? Let's get into A. This is fun.
Let's go. Here we go. A 2022 SGI Canada provincial draw for A. In the north, Lanigan, Bigger, Meadow, Warman. I have no idea.
Yeah, I knew Bigger was going A because of population. We figured maybe Meadow, but I'm actually surprised about the Lanigan Warman thing. I mean, I'm not sure. We haven't seen rosters. I know some of the teams in the divisions would have been emailed rosters for the other teams, but that's an very interesting North bracket.
Okay, hold on here. Bigger is going A because of population or because of imports? Because Bigger can't be bigger than Assiniboia.
No, it's not bigger. I mean, New York is big, but this is bigger. But it's because of populations. Let's edit that out. Populations of imports.
So they have too many.
Bigger's
imports.
Not that big. It's 2,000 people maybe.
Okay. That
makes
sense.
Makes sense.
Just like some of those smaller teams for sure. I know like Bethune, we used to go A and Bethune's small, but Meadow Lake, both Kings are on the provincial roster and Morasti.
Nasty.
That I know.
Yeah, they have to go A. I think they are over 5,000.
Oh yeah. On NHL games alone.
Yeah.
They got to go A.
Are we flipping to the South yet? Because I really want to. I'm looking at that
bracket.
Is this the SGI Canada / Shane Belter South Division? You like this one?
I like it. Drake and Belcaris. Like that's, man, Gubba's money. We'll see how he spent it. We'll see how Gubba spent his money in this series. Though I'm gonna say right now, the winner of that series is winning. Provincials. I'm going to say it right
Wow.
now. My
That's
call.
have you
Chakai,
seen Milestone,
Chakai.
Selby,
Yes.
and Lumsden?
Yeah, I have. I think Drake's taking the whole thing. That's just, I'm saying it right now. I think Drake's going to beat Belcaris.
The Div 3 insider comes up with a freaking hot take.
That's the
Really?
Jap right there, boys.
I'll go out on a limb and I'll say whoever wins the South will win Provincials, even though they're going to beat the piss out of each other in the first couple of rounds. One of those two teams going to be golfing by February 7th, though. It's too bad it's still going to be minus 30. But
It's and I want to say I took a quick glance at Drake's roster. I think they might have put on a couple guys too. I could be wrong though. I'm not like totally.
when did you
right
get
into their
rosters? I haven't
debrief.
seen rosters.
Milestone. Don't sleep on Milestone and getting to sit around for possibly, like Brandon said, Drake and Balcaris beat the crap out of each other, and then they have to roll against Milestone, which is never easy to play.
But Mrs. Blair will be cooking for the fellas and Drake.
Selby Lumsden, I mean, geographically, that's a close matchup. Those towns that's going to be a really good matchup too. Obviously,
will be
Selby
good.
probably hasn't won as much. Neither of those teams are probably where they want to be in league, but a couple of real good squads for sure.
Yeah, Lumsden's
I'm
good.
thinking we should do a nooner charter.
Live show.
Maybe
Live
an
show.
iron lung to one of those Drake Balcaris games, preferably in Balcaris because it's a lot closer. I think I got to watch one of those games.
Oh, be good. That's going to be a great series. It's going to go 3. You going to think it's going to go 3 games? Nobody's sweeping that one.
If Drake goes all the way, we're going to see him like close to the city for the first 3 rounds. So
That's
Yeah.
correct.
That's right.
So there it is. There's a SGI Canada. Again, thanks so much. Hockey Saskatchewan, thanks so much. So it's really going to, our senior show is coming up on Friday and our top 10 for General Well Servicing. They're still hiring, by the way, if you know anyone looking for a good job. General Well Servicing down in the South. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to this live program. Our first one, even though we get japped all the time about not doing one. Yeah, I don't know. I think it went all right. You guys are already guzzling, or Brandon is anyway. So
this beer was not in the fridge, but I wanted to drink one, so it's lukewarm. But
Boz had some subpar liners tonight too that he can't edit, so it was good.
can't edit. This is live, big checker. But no, in all seriousness, like when we talked to Kelly, how easy would it have been to just say, we can't do it this year? Not going to be able to do it. We're not going to do provincials. They said, no. And that's kind of the tone. I'm not to get political here, but the tone of the province where we're pushing forward. We're letting the kids play. And we're letting the adults get out there and make some sticks and gas. So lucrative for some of the boys.
We're out of time, boys.
Let's go.
We're out of time.
Right.
We're getting
Thanks,
political.
Sask.
Time to sign off. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.